Is there anybody here? What was that? Yo. Oh.
Right, so what I heard was they threw something on the ground or something like that.
Threw something, knocked something over, but it's after I said about like making themselves known.
That is beautiful. Baked beans in a haunted cave. Oh my f***ing God. That was the sound.
Some camping trips leave you with great memories. Others leave you haunted for life. Camping can be peaceful, adventurous, or downright terrifying. Sometimes, the sounds in the woods aren't just the wind and the feeling of being watched. Yeah, it might be real. These are 7 disturbing camping moments that will haunt you, caught on camera and guaranteed to send chills down your spine. So, if you thought the great outdoors was all fun and relaxation, think again. Field Days, a popular YouTuber with 1.74 million subscribers, decides to take on a terrifying challenge, spending a whole night in a haunted cave. The cave has a bad reputation for being a place filled with spooky and unexplained occurrences, and Field Days is both excited and nervous to test whether the rumors are true. From the start, the atmosphere in the cave is heavy, as if something is waiting in the shadows. As he walks deeper, he can feel the silence pressing in on him. His heart races, but he keeps going forward, determined to face whatever comes his way. As the intro begins, Field Days welcomes his viewers with his usual enthusiastic tone, ready to take them on an adventure. "Yay, dogs, welcome back to another video," he says, the excitement in his voice unmistakable. However, there's a hint of tension as he mentions the challenge ahead. "I'm about to spend the night in a haunted cave," he warns, setting the tone for the terrifying journey that lies ahead.
What's going on, doggies? Welcome to a solo camping in a haunted cave video. I've just been dropped off on the side of the road, which is probably about 2 k's that way. We are steaming our way through this dry bushland in search of this haunted cave. All right, so the whole entire reason why we're doing this mission today, one of my real good mates who lives just up here, he said to me, he went to visit this cave, he walked into the cave, he reckons that there's a man-made ladder which you can climb down.
Despite trying to stay calm, Field Days can't help but feel uneasy. The cave is cold, dark, and full of strange sounds that make him feel like he's not alone. As he explores, every noise seems louder, and every shadow seems to be hiding something. Is there someone else here, he wonders, trying to shake off the eerie feeling that's slowly taking over him.
Okay, outside world, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Look at the size of it. This is just the entrance of the cave here. And then obviously it just goes back into the darkness there. Look at that. There's big cracks which just continue down by the looks of it. Haven't been down there yet, but...
Even though he's filming for his viewers, it's obvious he's starting to feel the weight of the stories he's heard about the cave. Further into the cave, Field Days comes across a small hole in the ground, leading to an even darker part of the cave. What's this hole? "Oh my God, what goes down there?" he says, sounding both curious and afraid.
What's this hole? Oh my God, what goes down there? That is hectic. Do you reckon I can get in there? Oh. All right, that's an extremely small hole, but it would fit a human body. So, one of the challenges during the night is to go down there.
The hole is narrow, barely big enough for him to crawl through, but he can't ignore it. It feels like the cave is challenging him, daring him to go deeper.
Okay, this is very interesting. So I found another hole. Now this hole, you would not be able to fit a human body. Well, I wouldn't be able to fit down that hole. It's not wide enough for my shoulders to be able to go down the very end there.
With some hesitation, he decides to crawl through, his fear battling his curiosity. I guess there's no turning back now. he mutters under his breath. As Field Days crawls through the tight hole, the darkness feels even more suffocating. The air is thick, and his hands scrape against the rough stone, adding to the feeling of being trapped.
Look at this. Oh my God. I could spend weeks exploring in here. Look at this thing. This goes right up in here, all the way around the back there.
I'm freaking out, he admits, his voice barely a whisper. The further he crawls, the more claustrophobic the space becomes.
Oh, shit. Oh, what's that? Oh. Okay. That's a abort mission. That's not for a human. Okay. Alright, so it definitely doesn't seem like I'm gonna fit down the other end of that hole. Tell you what, mate, if you were claustrophobic, you'd be having a nightmare right now. It's pretty hard to breathe. It's very humid. The air's like really thick, humid in here.
Every sound, whether it's the scrape of his clothes against the rocks or a slight movement from the shadows, sends his heart racing. Is something following me? He wonders aloud, his mind filled with all the creepy stories he's heard about the cave. After making it through the hole, Field Days finds himself in a darker, colder section of the cave. His breathing quickens as he realizes how deep he's gone. The silence is overwhelming, and it feels like the cave is alive, watching him. I don't feel alone anymore, he whispers, feeling the weight of the silence pressing down on him. The fear has settled in fully, but he pushes forward, determined to finish what he started. His viewers can hear the tension in his voice as he moves deeper into the darkness, his mind racing with the possibilities of what might be lurking just out of sight.
This is definitely something that I did not think about at all. Alright, so there is one thing that I didn't think about when I come into this little camping cave Ghostbuster mission, and it's the mosquitoes. Millions. When I say millions, I'm talking millions of mosquitoes in here. My knuckles are getting smoked, my knees, my legs, everything, every bit of exposed skin is getting punished right now. It's currently 8:36 at night. Two noises which I've heard, which completely, the second noise, I had goosebumps from my head to toes. I'm talking a sound I've never heard before in my entire life.
The tension reaches a breaking point when Field Days hears a strange sound coming from the distance, a chain rattling in the darkness. His heart stops for a moment as his eyes scan the cave, trying to make sense of the noise. Something was moving this chain 3 times in a row, he says, his voice shaking. I got no idea what it could have been. The sound feels wrong, unnatural, and his fear spikes. He looks around nervously, but there's nothing there.
That is beautiful. Baked beans in a haunted cave. Oh my f***ing God. That was the sound. That is the sound. Did you hear that? Look at my arms. I got full goosebumps. It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder. It's a big, heavy, thick chain. Wind can't move that. Holy shit.
The bats flying around don't seem to be the cause of the noise. He starts backing away from the direction of the sound, but his feet feel glued to the spot. The fear is overwhelming, and he knows he can't leave yet. Something's out there, and he's determined to find out what.
That's not normal, dude. Well, I'm freaking out. That's that chain. That chain's moving.
As the night drags on, Field Days faces a tough decision. The fear is taking its toll, but leaving the cave would mean giving up on the challenge. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave this cave, he says, his voice full of tension. I want to stay here and do the whole night, but that noise was just scary. The idea of quitting is hard to accept, so he decides to stay.
So this is the ladder that was making the sounds. Now you're trying to tell me that this big ladder, something has to move this. So these bats are active. They're everywhere, but they're too small. I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave this cave. I want to stay here and do the whole night, but that noise was just scary. I might sit up here. I might just chill here.
If I quit now, I'm going to be pissed off at myself, he says, trying to push through the fear. His resolve strengthens, but his fear doesn't let up. The cave is testing him, and he's not about to give in.
I'm just going to lean up against that wall there, and I'm going to stay close to the entrance of the ladder, because that sound I heard before, it is... Okay, it is up around 2:30 in the morning right now. I've heard that sound again, so the only way I can describe this noise, it's between a cat hissing, and it sounds like human voice. Like, I'm not even joking, it sounds human-like. I can't even make the sound with my mouth. It's an extremely weird sound, and as soon as you hear it, you just get riddled with goosebumps. Like, I'm talking riddled.
Finally, the first light of morning breaks through, signaling the end of the night's terror. Field Days is exhausted, but he's made it through the challenge. We made it. The sun's rising, and that's it, he says, a sense of relief in his voice. The terror, the strange noises, and the feeling of being watched are finally over. He's proud of himself for pushing through, and he thanks his viewers for sticking with him through the night. That was a creepy night experience. I'm glad I did it, he says.
The morning, we have spent the whole entire night in this cave. Some of the most craziest, most busted ass sounds I've heard in my life.
Smiling despite the fear he's just faced. As he leaves the cave, the feeling of victory over his fear lingers, and he knows this adventure will stay with him for a long time. By the end of the video, Field Days has not only survived the haunted cave, but has also shared a powerful experience with his viewers. The fear and suspense from every moment of his adventure will stick with them long after the video ends, leaving them with questions about what really lurks in the darkness of haunted places. It's a thrilling journey into the unknown, and Field Days' courage to face his fears is the real highlight of the experience. Hike Slam is a channel that explores all aspects of hiking, providing helpful tips, gear advice, and thrilling trail stories. The creator of the channel, Phil, has had incredible hiking experiences over the years, including completing a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail when he was 28. He has also hiked extensively in places like the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and most recently he hiked 150 miles of the Oregon Coast Trail. Despite being experienced, Phil still encounters mysterious and sometimes eerie events during his hikes. In one particular adventure, he hikes alone into the Appalachian Trail section near his home in Virginia just before Thanksgiving. What was supposed to be a peaceful and quiet overnight hike soon turns into a strange and unnerving experience, filled with cryptic writings, dead animals, and odd happenings that leave Phil questioning whether he's being followed by someone in the woods.
Hi, Phil here from Hike Slam. Today I'm gonna hike into the woods a little bit here in Virginia and do an overnight. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be cold tonight, but I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Last time I was on this section of trail, it was September, so leaves were on the trees. It was warm. Right now it's really nice. It's probably low 50s, but it'll be colder tonight, so I'll have a fire, have some food, set up my tent, and we'll see what we find. So I'm gonna get going here and yeah, find the camp spot and see if anybody's there.
The adventure begins on the day before Thanksgiving when Phil heads out for his hike. He talks about his excitement, mentioning that the weather is expected to be cold, but he's prepared. I'm looking forward to it. This can be a lot of fun, he says, eager to get started. He recalls his last time hiking in this section was back in September, with the weather being warm and the trees full of leaves. Now, in late fall, the cold air adds an eerie edge to the trail. He mentions that he'll set up a fire, have some food, and find a good camping spot. As he walks, Phil is also on the lookout to see if any other hikers are nearby. Little does he know that his night is about to take a dark turn.
So the hike's been awesome so far. I mean, I've only been out for about half hour. River behind me, really pretty day. As I was walking up, I saw some trash in the trail, and I came across this. So some Bud Light cans, plastic bat, some writing on some of this garbage.
By 3 p.m., the day starts to lose its light. Phil's journey through the woods continues, and he's getting closer to his campsite. The sun begins to dip behind the hills, and soon the forest will be shrouded in darkness. At this point, the tension starts to build. Phil is still making his way to the shelter and campsite, unaware of what awaits him there. As he approaches the site, the strange occurrences begin to unfold. Upon reaching the campsite, Phil discovers a disturbing sight. He finds a dead duck lying on the ground. But that's not all. There's a long note near the dead animal, seemingly placed there recently.
The weirdness continues. What the? And there's a dead duck here. A very long note.
It looks like it was just put here because it's not wet, Phil observes, his voice tinged with confusion. He notes that the duck appears to have been recently killed, adding to the ominous atmosphere. The combination of the dead animal and the strange note hints that something unsettling might be going on in these woods. Phil's curiosity is piqued, but at the same time, he feels a growing sense of unease.
All right, approaching the shelter here. There's definitely nobody here. I think there's a knit cap there. Pretty clean. Shelter log. Pretty cool fire area there. It's set up kind of like a fireplace, angled toward the shelter for heat, which is pretty neat.
As night falls, Phil sets up his camp and gets comfortable, enjoying the warmth of his fire and the solitude. He mentions that it's the night before Thanksgiving and that he stopped at a convenience store on his way to the trail, making the night feel like an ordinary camping trip. However, the strange events that happened earlier are still on his mind. He tries to push the thoughts aside as he enjoys a moment of peace by the fire, reflecting on the day. It seems like a calm moment, but there's a lingering feeling that something is off in the woods. Phil is still unsettled, but he tries to enjoy the tranquility of the night. Then, things take a turn for the weirder.
So I had the one campsite in mind, the Mats Creek shelter, and based on the crazy notes I saw and the dead animals and, I don't know, running into those women on the trail who were scared, I'm glad I made the decision not to camp down there because I would have just been freaked out the whole time. This is only about 2 miles from that other campsite, but it's on the other side of the road. Still on the Appalachian Trail, but far enough away that I feel safe, which is good. Fire's throwing off a good amount of heat right now. It's a nice feeling to have dinner done, dishes done, tent set up with a sleeping bag in it, fire going. So I'm gonna celebrate a little bit of a...
As he sits by the fire, Phil notices some cryptic writings that seem to have been left behind on the trail. One of them reads, "Watch out for Yeet Mouse," and another says, "The dead do walk and talk." Like, what the hell is going on? Phil exclaims, bewildered by the strange messages left for him. His mind races as he starts to feel more uncomfortable. What kind of person would leave these odd writings in the woods? The atmosphere around him becomes heavy with a sense of foreboding.
Emergency press conference. So I thought it would be a fun little thing to look at the Johns Hollow shelter log. That's where I'm staying, Johns Hollow shelter, and just check out trail names and what people's experiences were on the trail. And it was fun at first. And they have these things that they put in shelters a lot to hang your food bag from, so like mice can't get to it. Look at this one.
What do you know? Same handwriting as the one in the book, and that garbage on the trail from that same dude. So it says, watch out for yeet mouse. The dead do walk and talk.
With his nerves starting to get the better of him, he decides to retreat to his tent to try and get some rest. In the safety of his tent, Phil tries to settle down, but his mind is still racing. He listens carefully to the sounds around him, hoping to hear something familiar. However, the silence in the woods is broken only by the occasional crackling of the fire. As he lies in his tent, he can't shake the feeling that someone is nearby, watching him. He keeps glancing at the hill behind the shelter, expecting to see the glow of a headlamp coming down the trail. The quiet stillness of the night only adds to the sense of unease. Phil knows he's not alone, but whether it's just the odd feeling of being in the wilderness or something more sinister, he's not sure. As the hours pass, the eerie feeling grows. The strange happenings, from the dead duck to the mysterious writings, continue to haunt Phil. He reflects on his decision to change campsites earlier, wondering if it was the right choice. Suddenly, his fears intensify when he notices something in the distance. A light moving through the woods. At first, he's not sure if it's just his imagination playing tricks on him, but the light doesn't disappear. "I think I saw someone," he says, his voice filled with dread. He quickly realizes that the light is getting closer, and he starts to feel like he's being followed. Feeling a surge of panic, Phil decides it's time to leave. "I just got out of there," he admits, still shaken. As he hikes back through the woods, he can't shake the feeling that the light is following him. He's unsure whether it's just the way the trees are positioned or if someone is actually out there tracking his movements. "I kept looking behind me a bunch of times," he says, his voice filled with nervous energy. The more he thinks about it, the more certain he becomes that he's not imagining things.
And I think this is a combination of the weird dude down the trail and his cryptic writings that I keep finding everywhere, and also in the woods, your mind plays games with you. Every sound, every light is something to be concerned about. So just gonna hunker down in here for a little bit and see what happens.
The light, possibly from a headlamp, seems to be following his every step. He's not willing to stick around to find out who it belongs to. Phil's heart races as he pushes forward, hoping to make it back to his truck. When he finally reaches his truck, the tension in his body begins to ease, but the questions remain. Was it another hiker? Or was something more sinister happening in the woods? Phil doesn't know for sure, but he's relieved to be leaving the mysterious happenings behind. As he drives away, he reflects on the strange events of the night and the unsettling feeling that stayed with him. The forest had been quiet, but it wasn't empty, and Phil learned that sometimes the scariest things on the trail are the ones you can't see.
Is there anybody here? Who's that? Yo.
Yasko is a well-known YouTuber with 708K subscribers who specializes in creating content focused on spooky adventures. His channel is filled with horror and entertainment videos, including stories of paranormal encounters, creepy camping trips, and investigations into haunted places. One of his most chilling videos, My Terrifying Camping Trip at Haunted Ghost Town, Someone Showed Up to My Camp Gone Wrong, takes viewers on a terrifying journey to a remote and abandoned ghost town located deep in the mountains. What starts as an adventurous camping trip soon turns into a nightmare when an unknown presence begins to stalk Yasko and his friend Chris. Here's a breakdown of the video with timestamps. The video begins with Yasko setting the scene in an eerie, abandoned ghost town, which he's camping in with his friend Chris. "Is there anybody here?" Yasko asks, introducing the location to his viewers. "We are going to be camping at an abandoned haunted ghost town way up in the mountains of the Adirondacks.
Of an old abandoned cabin, and there are signs that someone's been living here very recently. And I mean, there's clothing. Right? What was that? What was that? What was that?
Who's over there? What the hell?
Oh! Yo. Oh, yo, Chris, can you come back? Can you come back?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yasko is inside an old cabin, and he notices signs that someone has been living there recently. There's clothing left behind, and as Yasko continues exploring, he hears strange noises that immediately put him on edge. "What was that? What was that? Who's over there?" he says, clearly startled. The tension is palpable as he calls out to Chris, urging him to return. Something is definitely wrong, and they both realize they're not alone.
Now, I do want to mention we've actually been to this place in the past. We're going to be sleeping in this cabin right here, and the very last time we were here, people showed up. And I don't know what their intentions were, but they definitely were not good. We actually had to leave in a frenzy in the middle of the night, and it was pretty rough. Unfortunately for us, we just got the notification on our phones that there was a winter storm warning for tonight. We're looking at -degree temperatures, and at the same time, they're saying we're going to get a bunch of snow. So, not something I'm looking forward to.
As the video progresses, Jasko shares that he and Chris had visited this ghost town in the past, and things didn't go as planned. "We're going to be sleeping in this cabin right here," Jasko mentions, revealing that the last time they stayed there, they had to leave in the middle of the night. "People showed up, and I don't know what their intentions were, but they definitely weren't good. We actually had to leave in a frenzy, and it was pretty rough." Jasko's recounting of the previous experience gives the audience a deeper sense of unease about the place, as it becomes clear that this isn't just an ordinary camping trip.
So Chris had the wonderful idea to split up here a little bit. You sure that's a good idea, pal?
I don't know. Usually when I have ideas like that, you're okay with them. Usually it's good.
I guess. I don't know, bro. I mean, that was a weird ass sound.
Bro, hear me out though. Like, look, Jesus has been here like recently. He wrote his name on the wall. Like, we're gonna be fine. He will protect us.
While exploring the cabin, the situation intensifies. Jasko and Chris begin hearing disturbing noises around them. "Shut the __up," Chris yells after hearing a loud, unexplained sound. Jasko's voice is full of fear and discomfort as they continue to explore the abandoned buildings. "There's a building back there," he says. The surroundings are dark and foreboding, and the two friends are visibly shaken by the eerie atmosphere. "You can just feel it," Jasko explains, "like you're being watched. I'm going to switch Spirit Talker on as well." The pair begin using paranormal equipment in an attempt to communicate with any spirits that may be lingering in the area.
What the hell is this?
I don't know, but this
It's like an attic or something.
this closes from here, dude. Did you see this?
Oh, I didn't. Hey, what is this supposed to be then?
I don't know. It's the building shaped weird, right? It's like small on the bottom,
Yeah, it is
bigger
really
on the top. It's kind of.
Oh, there's something on this. What the hell is that? Okay, first and foremost, I'm getting a really bad feeling up here. You said toy. Can you elaborate a little bit on what you meant? Oh, bro, there's crayons up here. Crayola, I mean.
In the attic of one of the abandoned buildings, the mood grows even darker. "What is this supposed to be?" Jasko asks, his voice filled with both confusion and concern. The attic appears to be filled with strange items, including crayons, which make Jasko think that the building might have been an old activity center. Maybe this was like an activity center, he muses. But his unease is evident as he says, "I'm getting a really bad feeling up here." The feeling of dread is almost tangible, and the pair are left wondering who or what might have been there before them. The strange objects in the attic seem to be a sign of something far more sinister.
Okay, let me grab my flashlight. That doesn't look really accessible. Where's my flashlight? Oh, I just noticed the bike. Okay. There's footsteps. A lot of them, actually. Let's go check this out. Children are here, huh? Well, my name's Jasko. If you'd like to communicate with me, anybody for that matter, please come forward and do so.
As Jasko and Chris move through the abandoned ghost town, they come across something that stops them in their tracks. A bike and fresh footprints. "Wait, what's that? I just noticed the bike and there are footsteps," Jasko says in shock. His voice quivers with fear as he realizes they might not be alone after all. The presence of the footprints leads them to wonder if someone or something is still in the area. Jasko attempts to make contact with whatever is out there, saying, "My name's Jasko. If you'd like to communicate with me, please come forward." The fear in his voice grows as he waits for a response, but nothing happens until they hear something that gives them both chills. Suddenly, they hear something, a voice that sends them into full panic mode. "How's that?" Yasko asks, his voice trembling. The atmosphere is tense as they continue searching the area, unsure of what they're going to encounter next. The fear of being watched is overwhelming, and the suspense builds as every step feels like it could be their last. "I just heard someone," Yasko says, his voice barely above a whisper. At this point, it's clear that they are in a place that isn't just haunted by ghosts. There's something much more sinister at play.
Whoa! Actually, what the f is that? Yeah, we're armed! Chris, slowly, creep. With me, stay with me. Stay with me right now.
Oh, fuck. Hold on. Bro.
What the f sound? I've never heard anything like that in my life.
That was freaky as shit. Evil? Yeah.
Can you hold us? Sorry. Okay. Guys, listen. I know this probably isn't as long of a video as I know.
The situation becomes even more terrifying when Jasko and Chris hear a strange noise coming from the cabin. "What the hell is that?" Jasko says, clearly on edge. "What is going on? What is that noise?" The sound is unlike anything they've ever heard before. Jasko urges Chris to stay close as they move through the darkened area. "Chris, slowly, stay with me right now," Jasko says, his fear escalating with every strange sound. The noise seems to come from all directions, and the two friends are on high alert. This is no longer just a camping trip. It has become a desperate race for survival.
I'll be here.
Shit, this is a bad idea.
Let's go. It's fine. Oh. Ow. Oh. Ow. Holy shit.
Dude, I have never heard these noises in my life. Close the door, close the door.
Fuck, you scared me.
Sorry.
Holy shit.
Okay, guys, listen. We're gonna get our sleeping bags and stuff situated. Luckily, we have some fucking great sleeping bags that'll keep us warm in minus 20 degree, minus 30 degree weather. So I'm good. But apart from that...
By the end of the video, Jasko is completely shaken by the experience. "I'm not in a good headspace right now. I genuinely feel so violated. This is my vehicle, like my home. Someone," he says, his voice heavy with emotion. The fear from the night is evident as he wraps up the video, apologizing to his viewers. "I appreciate you guys, but I've got to go," he says. The sense of violation and fear is overwhelming, and Jasko's emotional state shows how intense the experience has been.
There before we came?
No.
Okay. This
Somebody like walked from town and like literally tried breaking into the truck.
We are so far. Listen, guys, I'm sorry for calling it quits right now. Listen, I know we could stay there. We already have. We stayed till the morning one of the times we came here. However,
that's enough reason to go.
We just did a full sweep of the truck. I literally crawled underneath the truck to like make sure there's nothing weird going on.
Yasko's terrifying camping trip video is an emotional roller coaster that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. From the eerie setting of the abandoned ghost town to the chilling noises and eerie presence that seem to follow them, the suspense never lets up. Through his authentic reactions and gripping storytelling, Yasko offers a haunting glimpse into the unknown. His vulnerability and fear are palpable, making the experience feel raw and real. It's a must-watch for anyone who enjoys thrilling adventures and a little bit of horror mixed with real-life fear. Moxley's Paranormal World is a YouTube channel dedicated to the exploration of haunted, abandoned places throughout the UK. With 70.4K subscribers and 208 videos, it has become a go-to platform for fans of paranormal exploration. The channel takes its viewers to eerie locations such as haunted houses, asylums, and old hospitals, diving into some of the most notorious and creepy spots. The experiences shared are chilling, and if you're into ghost hunting or just enjoy a good spooky adventure, Moxley's Paranormal World will have you hooked. In one of the most recent explorations, Moxley starts the investigation in an ominous location, claiming the area has a dark history tied to a local legend.
This is where it's supposedly said that there was a lad that come here to sell his soul to the devil to be able to transform into a werewolf. And the devil actually appeared in front of him and granted him that wish. Later on that same night, it said that he called his friend and said he doesn't want this no more. And the phone line died, right?
This is where it's supposedly said that there was a lad who came here to sell his soul to the devil to be able to transform into a werewolf, Moxley explains. The tension builds as the night begins, and we're instantly thrust into the mystery surrounding the location, setting the stage for what's to come. Moxley's calm tone, contrasted with the sinister legend, pulls viewers in, giving them the feeling that something truly eerie is about to unfold. The adventure continues, and Moxley recalls a previous experience while on another paranormal investigation.
If you've seen Ghost Entrance live, you'd have seen the palaver we had there.
If you've seen Ghost Entrance live, you'd have seen the palaver we had there, referring to the chaos and strange occurrences that happened during that investigation. Despite the unsettling nature of the previous encounter, there's a sense of calm as Moxley begins the current investigation, though you can feel the tension building. The unease of being in an unknown, possibly haunted place is evident in the way Moxley speaks, making us feel like we're right there with him. As the night goes on, the atmosphere becomes increasingly strange.
Definitely a weird feeling out here, isn't there?
It's weird out there, Moxley states, as the group ventures further into the abandoned area. His voice carries an eerie edge, and we begin to feel the strange presence he's describing. There's something unsettling about the place, but it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what. The air seems to hum with energy, as if it's filled with ghosts and spirits from another time. The team continues to press on, but the bizarre feeling of being watched is palpable. Suddenly, the team experiences a more intense encounter. Moxley pulls out a spirit box in an attempt to communicate with any spirits that might be present. "Hello?" he calls into the darkness. The moment he speaks, the group hears an eerie sound, almost like a whisper, which sets the tone for the rest of the investigation.
Literally, we're just going to try and find a spot where we can stand.
We're just going to try and find the spot where we can stand.
Maybe do an EVP, spirit talker. Let's see what we can pick up on. But just being out here, guys, honestly, you can...
Maybe do an EVP session, Moxley says. His voice shakes slightly, the quietness around him amplifying the tension. As he turns on the spirit box, there's an immediate shift in the atmosphere. The feeling of being watched becomes even stronger. The investigation gets even more intense as the team picks up an unsettling response from the spirit box.
There's something here.
If I count to 3, on the count of 3, will you light them lights up for me? 1, 2, Alice, 3.
Wow.
On the count of 3, will you write them right for me? Moxley asks, trying to communicate with the unseen entity.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, Paul.
6.7 that went up to.
Brilliant.
When did that last happen?
At the asylum.
At the asylum.
Over there as well.
When the meter spikes to 6.7, the team realizes that something extraordinary is happening. When did that last happen with the asylum? Moxley asks, referencing a similar occurrence from another investigation. The spike in energy is hard to ignore, and everyone in the group can feel the electricity in the air, building the suspense for what might happen next. As the night drags on, the atmosphere becomes increasingly unsettling. Moxley continues to ask questions, but it's clear that the spirits are not playing nice.
Did you hear that voice? Yeah. Just whilst you were talking, there was a voice over your voice, and it come from here.
At one point, the team hears a loud metallic noise in the distance, which Moxley describes as something shouting. The group is on edge, and they begin to feel as if they're not alone. The connection between the physical sounds they hear and the paranormal presence they're encountering starts to become more real with every second. "You're certainly with us, aren't you?" Moxley says, trying to establish contact with whatever entity is lingering nearby. The tension continues to escalate as the group encounters even more strange phenomena.
Now, oh. No.
Did you hear that behind me?
Yes, I heard it.
Oh, cold. Right up my neck.
Do you want to come towards us?
Moxley's voice drops to a whisper as the group hears faint whispering sounds nearby. "How's that whispering?" he asks. It's a moment of pure fear and curiosity as Moxley and his crew realize that the spirits are becoming more aggressive and vocal. The whispers are low and unsettling, and the team reacts with palpable fear as they continue to gather evidence.
We're going further down to the outskirts of where the wolf sightings are. So we're still in wolf territory here. Say that again.
Witchcraft as well.
Yes.
It's been documented here. And you've got black-eyed children.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, because they've headed towards where the black-eyed children.
As the investigation moves toward its climax, Moxley and his team find themselves nearing the site of an infamous local legend. We're heading towards where the Black M children sightings are, he says, heightening the fear and mystery of the situation. The stakes are raised as the group ventures into the unknown, trying to uncover the truth behind the spooky folklore surrounding the area. Moxley's voice is filled with both determination and anxiety as they move forward, knowing they are getting closer to a place that has been known to spook even the bravest of souls. As the investigation draws to a close, Moxley and his team find themselves feeling trapped, surrounded by paranormal energy.
Yeah. Seriously, we need to get back to camp as well, because something's going on back there with Dave there.
We need to get back to camp as well because something's going on back there, Moxley says. His words carry a sense of urgency, and the group begins to head back, realizing that the night is far from over. The tension continues to build as Moxley reveals that strange occurrences are happening at their camp as well, urging everyone to leave the area before things get worse. After an eventful and unnerving night of paranormal exploration, Moxley and his team wrap up their investigation.
So we're going to get out of here. We're going to get back home now. It's been an absolute fantastic night. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of unexplainable stuff.
We're going to get back home now, he says, a sense of relief in his voice. It's been an absolutely fantastic night. But as the team reflects on what they've just experienced, Moxley asks his viewers if they want to see more. Let us know in the comments section. The adventure is far from over, and the intrigue surrounding the supernatural forces they encountered only grows. Will's Whereabouts is a channel created by Will, a passionate vehicle camping enthusiast who's dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective to the world of camping.
I think this will do for tonight's stealth camping.
With over 297K subscribers, his content has captured the attention of people who are just as excited about vehicle campers and offbeat adventures as he is. After traveling the world for 5 years, Will discovered a deep love for vehicle camping, something he never thought he'd get into. His first real foray into this world was turning his dad's old Ford Galaxy into a small camper, and from there things took off. The pandemic gave him the opportunity to up the ante, and he converted a Fiat Ducato into a fully functional camper van, affectionately known as Mary. Since then, Will has been living his best life on the road, capturing his experiences, and sharing his love for vehicle camping with his growing community of followers.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight.
The adventure begins with Will expressing his unease, setting the tone for an uncertain night ahead. I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight, he says, and it's clear he's feeling restless. His words immediately create tension, making us wonder what's going on. Is it the location? Or maybe something deeper? His tone is one of caution, making you wonder if something sinister is lurking just out of sight. Will's voice is calm but laced with a hint of unease, pulling us into his experience as viewers feel the tension building from the very start of the trip. The suspense is undeniable as you can't help but think about what he might face next. As Will continues with his camping setup, the external chaos becomes more apparent.
There are people about 100 meters away, blazing music out. At least some good songs anyway. And some people screaming. Wish me luck, everybody.
He mentions that about 100 meters away, a party is blasting music, which becomes a source of both distraction and amusement for him. At least some good songs, he says, trying to make light of the situation. But it's clear that the noise is getting under his skin. The music is loud and the surrounding environment is filled with people screaming and carrying on, creating a stark contrast to Will's peaceful camping retreat. His voice carries a slight humor as he adds, "Wish me luck." And we can't help but feel for him as his night seems to be turning into a chaotic mix of peace and disturbance. Will's ability to remain lighthearted in such a situation shows his resilience, but there's an underlying tension that you can't ignore. Then, something begins to shift in the atmosphere. As Will decides to check out his surroundings, the loud party noises begin to fade away, and peace begins to settle in. The first rays of sunlight begin to break through the horizon, casting a calm light on his camp. The view outside is much different from the chaotic scene of the previous night.
Let's have a look what the outside world looks like.
And Will takes a moment to reflect on the transition. "Let's have a look at what the outside world looks like," he says, showing an eagerness to share this newfound tranquility. With the quiet, empty car park now visible, Will mentions how refreshing it is to not hear the traffic from the main road. There's a sense of serenity that fills the air, and it almost feels like the calm after the storm. As he sets up his drone, Will's excitement builds as he gets ready to show viewers exactly where he stayed, giving them a bird's-eye view of his temporary home. The imagery of the sun rising and the peace that now surrounds him makes for a beautiful and calming shift in the video. However, there's still a bit of discomfort as Will mentions the chill in the air. It wasn't unbearable, but the cold is noticeable.
I couldn't hear the main road, which was great. Did get a bit cold, but it wasn't too bad, especially this morning when I put my heater on.
He explains that putting his heater on during the night was a game changer, making it easier to handle the low temperatures. Will's voice softens as he reflects on the moment, expressing gratitude for the small comfort of warmth. This detail gives us a glimpse into his experience. Nothing too dramatic, but it emphasizes the importance of these small comforts during outdoor adventures. The peaceful morning continues as Will shares his routine, which is exactly what you'd expect from a seasoned camper. He embraces the calmness, yet the slight chill in the air reminds viewers of the unpredictability of life on the road. Will shares a funny moment that brings a bit of humor into the story.
So guys, I accidentally switched my camera over to slow motion mode, which means that I lost all of the sound on the remaining clips, but I ended up leaving the car park relatively early because it gets really busy after 9 o'clock, so I wanted to head on out of there.
He admits that he accidentally switched his camera to slow major mode, which caused the loss of all the sound in the remaining clips. His reaction is one of lighthearted frustration, laughing it off and explaining the technical mistake to his viewers. It's clear that Will doesn't take himself too seriously, which only adds to his charm. Instead of letting the mishap frustrate him, he rolls with it, showing his ability to adapt and move forward. His honesty and humor make his content feel real and relatable, and viewers appreciate his transparency. In this video, Will gives viewers an inside look into his stealth camping adventure. He starts off uncertain, sharing his unease about not getting much sleep, and quickly shifts from chaos to peace as the day transitions from night to morning. Through his experiences, we feel both the tension and relief that comes with spending time in unpredictable environments. The mix of lighthearted humor, technical mishaps, and quiet moments of reflection make this video not just about camping, but about the genuine experience of living on the road. Will's ability to share the highs and lows of his journey makes him a relatable figure for anyone who has ever camped or spent time in nature, and his love for the open road is evident in every frame. His channel is a go-to for anyone who wants to explore vehicle camping through the eyes of someone who truly, despite the minor setback, Will continues with his adventure, wrapping up his camping mission. He notes how the car park would soon become crowded and explains that he prefers to leave early to avoid the rush. The quiet morning, which he had been enjoying, was soon going to be replaced with busy visitors. Will's decision to leave early comes with a sense of finality, but there's also a hint of reluctance as he moves on from the calm. He reflects on the stealth camping mission, grateful for the experience, and thanks his viewers for joining him on the journey. In his closing remarks, Will expresses his appreciation for the channel members who support his content, making sure to acknowledge their importance in helping him continue to create videos. He gives a heartfelt thank you to his audience, inviting others to join the channel's membership program, and encouraging his viewers to like and subscribe for future videos. As the video wraps up, the music fades and Will signs off, leaving his viewers with a sense of anticipation for the next adventure. The Haunted Cave. Joe Weller, a popular YouTuber known for his adventurous explorations, was gearing up for another dangerous journey. His usual curiosity and thrill-seeking nature led him and his friend Elliot to an eerie, abandoned location. As they ventured further into the unknown, the suspense and excitement were palpable. The camera, handed over to Joe by Malfoy, would document what might be one of their creepiest explorations yet. What they didn't know was that they were about to uncover something far more unsettling than they could have imagined. Little did they know, every step forward would take them deeper into the unknown.
Bye, Malfoy. Bye. So, boys and girls, I've just picked up a camera from Malfoy, and now it's time to explore.
The pair immediately encountered strange remnants of past activities. A bloody steel chair stood out among the debris. They pondered the possibilities. Had someone been hurt here, or was this part of a twisted ritual? Joe and Elliot exchanged looks of disbelief, the tension in the air palpable. They continued to investigate, every corner revealing something new and disturbing. The chill in the atmosphere was thick, and every sound echoed through the abandoned place, making them jump at the slightest noise. The abandoned objects seemed to tell a dark story, but they couldn't yet piece it all together.
Oh, don't tell me that's a bloody another horse field. Okay, what is that? Why on earth would that be there? What if they've left it there because like a child died here and that was his like favourite contraption? There's a bloody steel chair. Oh, this looks alright. This looks bloody lovely. Someone's had a little Extreme Rules match.
As the duo moved through the eerie building, Joe's curiosity led him to question the oddities they were finding. The lights inside the building were strange, flickering, almost like they were positioned in a way that didn't make sense. They soon realized there was more to this place than just neglect. As they entered another room, the discovery of a bizarrely placed horse field stood before them. Joe couldn't understand why or how something so out of place could be in the middle of an abandoned building. What is that? He wondered aloud. The tension was growing with every new mystery they uncovered.
And then it's been burnt down. Pretty much. We've come to somewhere that's been demolished and there's nothing here. Right, so basically, we've been to 2 places now tonight and both of them seem to be just demolished. So we've decided what we're gonna do is do a bit more research, find somewhere that we're certain is still about, and yeah, just go another day.
Yeah.
Right, so boys and girls, it is now day 2. And we've done a little bit of research and we found that there is an abandoned care home 20 miles away from where we live, so
33 minutes drive.
Boys and girls, we have arrived on location. We have to travel down this little passage, right? Looks alright, you know, nice and visible.
Be careful of the nail there.
What nail?
There.
That's deadly. Right, 1 sec.
Be careful of the nail, as I said.
I'm okay. Coming through. Oh, the bloody sprinkles. What the f***'s that then?
It's because we bent it too much.
Oh my god. That just landed on my scalp. Full on door has just attacked us.
Right.
Why is there loads of broken tiles?
Point it over there, is that it?
Oh my god, mate. No, I don't know about that.
They continued to explore deeper into the building.
That's deadly. Right, 1 sec.
Careful of the nail,
which was clearly in a state of ruin. Elliot noticed something strange.
Somebody's so been in here. Look, you can get through there.
There's actually a bloody teapot. Look, let me get a zoom on that.
An old teapot left on a shelf, collecting dust. Joe zoomed in, examining the item closely. This teapot wasn't just some random object. It hinted that this place had once been used for something else entirely. Then it clicked.
So this was a care home. So people have definitely died in here.
This had been a care home. People have definitely died here, Joe said with a shiver. The realization that this place had witnessed death made the hairs on the back of their necks stand up. Every step forward felt heavier, as they started to understand just how sinister this place really was.
Oh my god.
Somebody's soaping in here. Look, you can get through there.
There's actually a bloody teapot. Like, let me get a zoom on that. So this was a care home. So people have definitely died in here.
Oh, 100%.
Why is that all laid out like that then?
Are these nappies?
What the hell?
The atmosphere grew even more unsettling as they moved through the building. The silence was only interrupted by the faint sounds of creaking floorboards and distant, unexplained noises. Suddenly, Elliot paused. He heard something too, a faint noise like something moving in the dark. Did you hear that?
What was that?
I heard that, did you?
Yeah.
He asked Joe, his voice low with unease. Joe, equally startled, nodded. They stood there for a moment, straining their ears, but the sound didn't repeat. The tension in the air thickened as they realized they might not be alone.
I don't know. Hey, what's in there? There's a bog in there. Nah, bro. Should we go in?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Right. To anybody occupying this building, we just want to make some friends.
Hello.
As they ventured deeper, the noise grew more pronounced. Now there was no mistaking it. Someone or something was inside the building with them. A rustling sound echoed from a room down the hall, followed by what sounded like something being knocked over. Joe whispered, "Wait, if there's anyone here." His voice trailed off, but the fear was clear. Elliot's eyes darted around, but they couldn't see anything. The possibility of encountering another person, or something far worse, made them reconsider continuing their exploration. The situation was becoming more dangerous, and the unknown felt more threatening than ever.
What was that?
I heard that, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, can we back off a little bit, mate? Like, one sec. Bro, I'm telling you, there's people in there. Like someone was moving.
I'm not hearing it as an identifiable noise like, oh, that's someone walking around.
Like, on the realist level now, I don't know if we should do this. What was that, man?
Wait.
The air grew colder, and Joe and Elliot could no longer ignore the eerie sounds coming from deeper within the building. As they moved forward, they noticed something strange. An object had been thrown or knocked over.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm fully man. Really? That was a legit noise. Mate, they like threw something.
It was as if something was making itself known, but in the most terrifying way possible. Joe's voice trembled as he said, "I thought I heard something. Oh my God, I heard something being thrown." The unease between them grew stronger as they realized that they were not just exploring an abandoned building. They were walking through something far more sinister.
Right, so what I heard was they threw something on the ground or something like that.
Threw something, knocked something over, but it's after I said about like making themselves known.
By this point, the fear had reached its peak. Joe and Elliot had seen enough. The strange noises,
You're here.
Oh god.
I'm fully man.
Off.
the unsettling discoveries, and the growing feeling of being watched made it clear it was time to go. They had explored the building far enough, and their instincts were telling them it was no longer safe to stay. Joe spoke with a sense of finality. "We should have just risked it all, but at the end of the day, getting out, it gets to a point where it's just not worth it." The decision was made. They needed to leave before things got any worse. With their hearts racing, Joe and Elliot made their way to the exit. Despite the intense fear they had experienced, they knew they had to share their journey with their viewers. "It'd be sick if you can leave a like rating, subscribe if you're new, and check out Little Boy Ellie for more," Joe said, trying to lighten the mood. "Catch you in the next one." The video ended with them running out of the building, their adventure now over, but the lingering sense of terror still fresh in their minds.
Risked it all, whatever, but at the end of the day,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's not worth it. So, shit, man. But yeah, it'd be sick if you could leave a like rating, subscribe if you're new. Check out little boy Elliot Crawford. Catch you later.
Brendan and Steve, deep in the heart of the Peak District, were in the middle of another stealth van camping adventure, but things quickly took a terrifying turn. The duo had found a secluded spot in the hills to set up their van for a peaceful night of rest. However, as the night grew darker, they noticed something odd. There was a light moving in the distance, creeping closer. As Brendan looked out the window, his voice trembled slightly as he said, "Mate, there's a car coming down the hill." It was far from a casual passerby. The eerie feeling that they were being watched started to settle in. "You're not going to just get anybody coming down here, are you?" Brendan added, looking out into the shadows of the hills. He was sure that something, or someone, was lurking out there.
Me and Steve have had to part ways. Someone was just outside.
I'm looking at you, mate. There's a car hitting about up there. It's that light up there. It's just stalking us. You're not going to just get anybody coming down here, are you?
There's definitely something or someone at the brow of that hill.
You stay away from my van.
The strange light and the unsettling feeling only grew stronger as the night wore on. Brendan glanced around the area, trying to make sense of what was happening. "There's definitely something or someone with the brow of that hill," he muttered, unsure of what to make of the strange occurrences. He tried to calm himself, but every sound seemed to heighten his unease. "Stay away from my van," he whispered, his voice tight with tension. A strange feeling lingered in the air, as if the night had suddenly become far more sinister than they expected.
Don't know why I just turned the lights on again, because I've got a sneaky confession. I've been up for 20 minutes. I've had the heating on, the diesel heater's been on. It is now 19 degrees inside this van. When I woke up 20 minutes ago, it was 1.5 degrees.
As the sounds of the night grew more unsettling, they noticed a car driving back and forth near their van. They were by the van, Brendan said, his concern growing. "I don't know what he's doing up there, but it's worrying me a little bit." The situation was getting weirder by the minute, and both Brendan and Steve were starting to feel like they were being stalked. They watched the car pass by, unsure of what the driver's intentions were. Brendan's voice was shaky as he said, "What time is it? Stay away from my van."
Me a little bit.
Yeah, hang on.
I've got something to say.
What time is it?
You stay away from my van.
Honestly, when I heard that car go past.
It was clear that they weren't just dealing with a normal passerby. Suddenly, a new element of the mystery appeared. A spotlight flickered in the distance, casting an ominous glow across the hills. "Look, he's got something up there," Brendan said, pointing out the window at the strange light. "He's our problem."
It's our problem. So he's just driving backwards and forwards. If you look, right? If you look.
He added, his voice full of frustration. "He's just driving backwards and forwards." Every passing moment felt more intense as they realized they were no longer alone. "Look at the top of the hill," Steve said, his voice filled with awe and fear. "There's something there." The glow from the light only added to the growing tension, and Brendan's nerves were getting the better of him. "That scared the living daylights out of me," he admitted, unable to shake the feeling that they were being hunted.
Someone was just outside the van. Oh. You alright, mate?
Yeah. And there's a car. Did you have it as well?
Yeah.
Like a.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at you, mate. There's a car hitting about up there. It must have been. They were by the van.
As the light on the hill grew brighter, they knew something wasn't right. Brendan squinted into the darkness, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. "It must be a vehicle," he said, sounding uncertain. "That farm's quite a way away. We shouldn't be seeing anything here at this hour." The idea that they were being watched was becoming a reality, and there was no escaping it. "Look at the time," Brendan muttered. "You're not going to just get anybody coming down here." The fear was palpable, and they both realized that their situation was quickly becoming more dangerous.
What time is it?
You stay away from my van.
Honestly, when I heard that car go past, what were they doing?
I don't know, but we've got somebody up there who's got a big spotlight on. He's our problem, because he's just driving backwards and forwards. If you look, he's definitely got a light on there. He's sitting up there. Is there somebody up?
Brendan grabbed his drone, hoping it would help them get a better sense of what was going on. "Apologies if you guys can't really see much," he said.
Apologies if you guys can't really see much because of how dark it is, but there's definitely something or someone.
But the glow from the distant fire was undeniable. The heat coming off the light was intense, and it didn't seem like anything natural was causing it. "That's a fire," Steve said, his voice low. "What are they doing, setting fires at this time of night?" The situation was becoming even more confusing and eerie as they watched the light flicker in the distance. As the car passed again, they both realized the presence was not just coincidental. There were two vehicles involved. One was a van, and the other was a Land Rover.
Might have been then.
That would have been a vehicle, mate. I've got to be honest, like, because that farm's quite a way away. Now, we've had another vehicle. Look, mate, look at the time, what time it is, right? You're not going to just get anybody coming down here, are you? I mean, there's only another option of doing this, Brendan. Is the drone.
Despite the growing unease, Brendan and Steve decided to stay put, convinced that they had a handle on the situation, at least for now. "We're going to stay here," Brendan said, trying to remain calm. "At least we know what that initial sound was. It sounded pretty horrific in the middle of the night, but we've got it figured out." But as the tension lingered, both of them couldn't shake the feeling that they were still being watched. "It would have been a lot better if we knew for sure," Brendan continued, but his uncertainty was evident. As the night dragged on, both Brendan and Steve found it difficult to ignore the lingering fear that something would go wrong. "Wish me luck," Brendan said, looking at the camera. "If I don't bring you back for the remainder of this video, I've been successful in getting a good night's sleep." It was clear that Brendan didn't expect things to settle down easily, but he was determined to push through the night. "Fingers crossed I get some kip," he added, hoping for some rest despite the unsettling events that had already taken place. The night was far from over, and they both knew that they would be on edge until the morning.
I can't really see much because of how dark it is, but there's definitely something or someone at the brow of that hill. Look with your naked eye at the top of that hill.
Yeah. See, it's picking up something.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, it's a fire. Look at the heat off. Look at the glow off it.
What the hell are they doing setting fires at this time of night?
It's quite a big fire, that was, because it showed up, didn't it?
Car's gone past twice.
Yeah. So we have two vehicles.
Yeah.
Past, but I haven't.
What did you say? One was a van?
One was a van, definitely a little van.
Yeah.
And the other was
Land Rover.
Yeah, that Land Rover.
So conclusion in a nutshell is that we're going to carry on staying here. We're going to kind of disregard that a little bit. At least we know what the initial sound was. That
the video captures the growing sense of fear and unease as Brendan and Steve find themselves in an increasingly dangerous and mysterious situation. What started as a simple camping trip quickly turned into a frightening encounter with something, or someone, lurking just beyond the reach of their van. Every strange light, every passing vehicle, and every sound outside seemed to heighten the tension, making the viewers feel like they were right there with Brendan and Steve, experiencing the fear and suspense firsthand. The combination of eerie visuals, nerve-wracking suspense, and the looming threat of an unknown presence in the hills kept the audience on edge. As the night wore on, Brendan and Steve were left wondering whether they had made a terrible mistake by staying put. Would they make it through the night unscathed, or would the mysterious stalker in the hills catch up with them before dawn? The video ends with viewers left hanging, uncertain of what will happen next. The sense of dread and anticipation is palpable, making it clear that this stealth van camping adventure was anything but peaceful.
Sleep. Although I'm not holding out too many hopes. We've watched this happen, but hey, wish me luck. If I don't bring you back for the remainder of this video, I've been successful in getting a good night's sleep, and I'll give you a full update in next week's video.